Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today we've got more Star Wars rumor news about potential characters from the EU coming into the official canon of Star Wars as either in a movie or in a TV series for Disney+. And this character is one that many people, many fans of Star Wars have been asking for a very long time. I would say that I'm definitely in that camp after having read about her story in things like the Thrawn trilogy and just reading and finding out more about her relationship with Luke Skywalker and just the amazing story arc that her character really goes on. She goes from someone that is the Emperor's hand. She goes from someone that is obsessed with killing Luke Skywalker because it's the very last thought that the Emperor was able to put into her head, and just to see everything that she goes through and the immense journey she's on is fantastic in the books. I'm sure that they've also done a couple of things in the comics as well, as there's a comic image here from our friends over at Bounding in the Comics. It says, I am the Emperor's hand, I am the ultimate predator, and it's time for Daykuk and Black Nebula to die. And she is a badass character. But with all that being said, as you all know, I am very wary of anything that has to do with Disney Star Wars at this point in time, because they have yet to really show that they have any idea what they're doing, other than things that have come from Dave Filoni and the very early images and early trailer that we've gotten so far from The Mandalorian from Jon Favreau. Disney Star Wars has really not shown itself to be trustworthy with the material bought by Disney, of course, from George Lucas. George Lucas, of course, was hit and miss with it as well. I know that some people defend George more so than they should, and I think that some people let George get away with too many things that he should, but I think all of us can at least come together and say that he is a genius as far as the world he was able to create, and of course, we always have to thank George Lucas for creating the immense world of Star Wars, though I think that he should easily have just continued to own the property and just allow different people who are much more qualified in my head, at least, to be able to actually direct the movies and possibly work on some dialogue as well. But that indeed is Mara Jade coming to Star Wars live action, and this rumor indeed includes that they're going to be diving into the EU. The rumor comes from Mikey Sutton and posted in a Geekosity Facebook group. So again, this is rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. Sutton writes, I've had this information for over a year now. There's about a few hundred in here know already. I'll have more details in a day or two, but Mara Jade is coming to live action Star Wars. Stay tuned. So this is someone that has inside sources. This is someone that has had this type of information for a long time. And to be honest, this really isn't all that surprising. This really isn't a bombshell report or a bombshell rumor, because we assume that they would eventually want to go in this direction. They've been very clear about how they want to have a female-centric Star Wars, even though the main reason why they bought things like Star Wars and Marvel were because Disney was known as the girl company, because mostly their audiences were girls, young girls, princesses, etc. And so they bought these Star Wars to try and bring in a more male audience, but now they're trying to feminize these male properties, and what they're going to end up doing is pushing those males that they just got in away and getting in more of a female audience, which is going to leave them at square one. I don't think any of them actually have an idea of what they're doing or the impact it's going to have on their business model, years down the road. But hey, if that eventually leads to Star Wars coming back into the hands of a more capable person, I'm okay with that. Do I think that's honestly going to happen? Probably not, sadly, of course. But again, we have to look at this, and hopefully we start to get some better stories. Mara Jade has been a character that a number of Star Wars fans would want to see adapted into live action. While not specific to Mara Jade, Lucasfilm Story Group leader Leland Chi did tease that a number of EU or Legends characters will be making appearances in Disney's Star Wars canon in the coming months back in January 2018. And something tells me that most of them are probably going to be appearing in Disney Plus shows, Disney Plus series, and not in the actual movies themselves, mostly because I really honestly think that Disney's going to want to push so much more content and so many more people to their streaming service, because obviously they need to make up the money that they are going to initially lose on all the content that they are offering and all the money that they're putting into that content, especially for shows like Mandalorian, where you're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on that overall series, as well as the other series that they have planned in the works. I mean, they have already an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which is going to cost a crap ton of money if they're going to do anything worth anything with as far as effects and actors and trying to do anything that they can to make it as good as possible, at least from a production value standpoint. Of course, they have also got the the story that they've got the series that's going to be based off of the character that no one cared about from Rogue One, Cassian Andor. Cassian who? Cassian Andor. But more importantly, K2SO is coming back also, voiced by Alan Tudyk. And that's, to be honest, that's the only thing I'm excited for with that show, is because I love Alan Tudyk. I love the voice work that he does, and I think K2SO, if he is not a true lead in his own right in Cassian Andor's show, then to me, it's going to be a waste of his talent and a waste of the overall character. But Let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think that Mara Jade coming into the Disney Star Wars canon officially is going to be a good thing, or do you think they're going to try and spin the character to be something that she's not? I would obviously try and actually believe the latter point, right? That they're going to instead try and push some type of agenda with her, try and say, oh, strong women, instead of just saying, no, she's a strong character that happens to be a female character who has a great character arc. If they're able to keep her character arc and be able to keep her past and history for all that they can do, because they've already decanonized so many of the things that she was a part of. So many of the best stories about her have already been decanonized. You know, if they're able to at least hold some of the best parts of her character, specifically, and I know that they're not going to like this, is her relationship with Luke Skywalker. If they try and change that at all, that, oh, she finds the light on her own and she's a strong, independent person. No. One of the main things and one of the great qualities about her character, and Luke's character for that matter, is that they both rely on each other equally. They both rely on each other for redemption. They both rely on each other to be on the straight and narrow path, and that's what makes them so great. We live in an age, though, and in a world where relationships are seen to make you weak, whether you're a male character or most likely a female character, right? You can't have female characters in relationships. That's why Captain Marvel was all about the friendship. It was all about the female friendship because we couldn't have her in a relationship. That would degrade her character. When is it that we fell into this crazy, crazy world where relationships were seen as negative things, where it brings you back, where it holds you back somehow? Last time I checked, relationships are supposed to be about two people willing the good of each other and being able to bring that into their life, being able to bring that into making them better people. Why is it that now it makes you weak? It doesn't make any damn sense. But this would actually, I think, honestly help Disney Star Wars more so than hurt it, especially since you already have this report coming from, again, Doomcock over the weekend. Again, another rumor, of course. This is coming from Doomcock seeing some photos. And again, I think that there's definitely some truth to it. However, it's photos from one store from last time I checked that he saw. There was a bunch of Star Wars DVDs and Blu-rays that were basically on a cart being pushed away, and that they were going to be replacing those with things like the old school Star Wars in new packaging. And then he made one point that I do want to correct, because I love me some Doomcock, right? But one thing he said was that it looks like they're going to be trying to, that Best Buy, as it says right here, and the sales of this garbage are so anemic that Best Buy believes that repackaged version of the movies 40 years old will outsell them. Well, keep this in mind, that the repackaging version, and again, I don't think he was saying that, looking at it, I don't think he was saying that Best Buy was the one that's repackaging it, because obviously the packaged products themselves come directly from the people that own the IP. So Disney Star Wars is always going to okay whatever designs they have. Even when you have things like the Best Buy exclusives, yes, Best Buy has some type of contract with them to get it, but it's going to come from, in some form or fashion, Disney overall, because they still own the IP as it is. But also, obviously, I do think he's right. I think that you will find repackaged 40-year-old films doing so much better, which is why you have so many classic films getting re-released on things like 4K discs, for example. And if that's what's coming for Star Wars in the future, man, oh man, I hope that they're able to fit in the original cuts of those films before George Lucas came in and added a bunch of crap to them, because that would be freaking awesome. But there's that one thing I want to say that, obviously we see that they're shrinking the sections because not a lot of people are buying them. And yes, the old school films will outsell them, no doubt about it. But it's not Best Buy that's repackaging them. And the only reason why I wanted to point that out is because that's how I read it the first time. And obviously, I think that that's not what he was meaning, but I think it's important for us to talk about. But anyway, what else thoughts about this? Do you think that Mara Jade is coming into the Star Wars universe and this is going to be enough for you to come back? Because I know a lot of people have left in the comments saying, we need Mara Jade. Mara Jade needs to be brought into the universe. Maybe then I'll be interested again. A lot of people have said that. Some people are obviously completely done, and hey, I understand it. I'm right there with you. I have no desire or interest in seeing anything else from Star Wars at this point in time. The only thing that's keeping me driving force is because I still love the characters. I still love the world of Star Wars. I think it's a very rich world. We just need better filmmakers, better storytellers that are going to be taking over. People like Dave Filoni, hopefully Jon Favreau, because again, for all we know, we could have something really cool and really good with Mandalorian, but obviously I'll take that with a pinch of salt until we actually see the actual final product itself before I make any judgments on it officially. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about Mara Jade and anything else we talked about in the comments down below. If you like this video, smash the like button, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.